I'm Barry Tramel, and I say the proposed new league with the Pac-10 and 6 schools from the Big 12 is best for Oklahoma State.
I'm Jenni Carlson, and I disagree. I think it's better for Oklahoma. From the Opubco Studios in Oklahoma City, you're watching the press row. Barry, I think it benefits both schools, but I think Oklahoma is the one it's going to benefit more. More revenue and a chance to win more. I think Oklahoma State, especially in that marquee football, it's going to be hard treading for Oklahoma State.
Well, it's definitely going to be harder for both schools to win because you're upgrading the schedule, probably by a game a year. So, if you've been playing, Oklahoma State's been on an 8-5, 9-4 foundation, pretty good for the last several years. You might have to scale back expectations. But you're right, Jenny, it's better revenue for everybody, and I think that revenue is more important to Oklahoma State. But here's why I think it's best for OSU. Look at the other 2 states in the Big 12, the other state universities. Iowa State, Kansas State, they're in limbo. They're unknown. We don't know what's going to happen to them. If Oklahoma State if this new league it does come to pass, Oklahoma State's going to be included. Oklahoma State has found a permanent home, doesn't have to worry about its future. I think that's a big load off the mind of OSU decision makers because anytime you're not in the elite level of collegiate athletics, which Oklahoma State is not, it's below that power structure of Texas, USC, Alabama, Oklahoma, then you have to worry. Oklahoma State's worrying days are over if this new Pac-16 conference comes to fruition.
Well, I think that is true. And again, there are benefits both ways. I mean, I think you're seeing an additional revenue to all the schools, which, I mean, everybody loves. Nobody's going to turn down more money, and it's definitely going to benefit Oklahoma State. But I think the thing that I look at is if you look at the football records and what Oklahoma and Oklahoma State have done, a lot of Oklahoma State, where they've been able to step up in football, is they've been able to get over those North schools now. You've seen them beat in the last couple of years Missouri, who they had a pretty decent team in Columbia the last couple of years. Oklahoma State's helped build this football program on the backs of some of those North teams. And if you take those North teams out of the equation and instead add in Arizona and Arizona State, who look to be on an uptrend, it could be some difficult sledding for Oklahoma State in football. I just think Oklahoma, while the level of difficulty increases because it increases for everybody, I think Oklahoma may be more equipped in the short term to handle that and get off on a better foot in this new conference.
Well, it's actually the Arizona school is an excellent example. In the last decade of the Big 12, what we've seen with Oklahoma State is they've taken a shot at trying to catch Texas A&M and Texas Tech. The truth is, they've gotten close to Tech, and they have caught Texas A&M. They're on an equal footing with Texas A&M. The problem in the new conference, the new division, is that you've got 2 new schools in the same situation, Arizona and Arizona State. You got to be even with those guys or ahead of them, and Oklahoma State may be able to, but you can't fall behind Arizona and Arizona State because you're already going to be chasing A&M and Tech in the same way that you have been. So in other words, there's more parity, there's more schools right there with you that could get ahead of you if you're not on top of your game.
Well, I think the thing that one of the things that most intrigues me about Oklahoma, and I think again that they'll be able to handle a shift in conferences better than Oklahoma State, but I do think that it's interesting if you're an Oklahoma football fan, and we know there are lots of you out there as you think about an in-division matchup with Arizona, Mike Stoops being on the other sideline, Bob's brother. Obviously, Arizona State, which is a decent football school, not maybe to the level of some of the Big 12 teams, but 2 pretty darn good divisional schools that could be in that division with Oklahoma. And then when you think about a conference championship game with the Texas Oklahomas of the world maybe meeting up against USC or Washington, depending on. I mean, it's a great thing to think about is what could come of these football matchups. And we're not even talking about the other sports yet, but I think Oklahoma, where it is, especially in football, I think it makes it more equipped to handle it. And then you add in the revenue, I think we could see some really big steps for all the schools, but I think Oklahoma, it benefits them a little bit more. Stay with the best coverage team anywhere at newsok.com and every day in the Oklahoman.